Okay, so today we're talking about multiplying decimals. This is a guided practice that we have to just kind of practice what we're learning. Jeff brought 5/10 pounds of grapes for lunch. He ate 4/10 of his grapes at lunch. Shade the model to show the amount of his grapes that he ate. The model below represents 1 pound of grapes. So if this entire thing represents 1 pound of grapes and he brought half a pound, 5/10 of a pound, we can shade 5/10. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. I'm just going to do it with my pencil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and it does not have to be really dark, guys, with your pencil. Just make it fast. And basically, on any quizzes you have, you're not going to have to shade it, but there may be a shaded model, and then you have to be able to recognize what it is. So if I were a 5th grader, when I see a picture, I would label it. So what did we just do?
Shaded.
We shaded 5/10. So I'm gonna label that 5/10. Now it says he ate 4/10 of his grapes at lunch. Okay, so if these are his grapes, he ate 4/10 of them. So I'm gonna go on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 4/10. Okay. And then I'm going to label that 4/10. This is a model to represent the grapes that he ate, okay? We should be able to see the answer in the model. Now we know that the answer is going to be in the overlapping part, or the double shaded part. And the double shaded part is right here. So this is the double shaded part. So if this is the double shaded part, our answer is right here. I'm just making it a little bit darker so I can see what I have. This looks a little bit like an array. This looks exactly like an array. So because that looks like an array, then we have to, because it looks like an array, then we have to make sure that we count them. Okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. And so what's 4 times 5? 20. We can prove that going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 what? 20 hundredths. 20 hundredths. 20 hundredths. So if that's 20 hundredths, that's our answer. It's the overlapping part. It's the 20 hundredths part. Okay? All right. So how would we show that? It would be 4/10 times 5/10. We said 4 times 5 is what? 20. Now this is the fun part. We know it's 20 hundredths because it's here, but I want you to know that right here, there's one place value after that decimal point. So write 1 place value. I'll tell you why in just a second. And then after this one, how many is after the decimal point? 1. So write 1 place value. When you're multiplying decimals, either by a whole number or a decimal times a decimal, you have to account for all those place values. So because you have to account for them, you have to count them. Okay? So there's 1, 2 in our factors. So this factor has 1, this factor has 1, so that's 2 place values. So our answer should have 2 place values, right? So we have 2 numbers. We can start here. We can say 1, 2. Our decimal point goes here. That looks the same. 20 hundredths and 20 hundredths. We know that's the same as 2/10. Okay? 20 hundredths or 2/10. They're equivalent. So this has 1 and that has 1, so our answer should have 2 place values, right? Okay? Let's look at number 2. The distance from Brian's house to his school is 8/10 mile. Brian rides his bike 7/10 of the distance and walks the rest of the way. How far does Brian ride his bike to school? Okay, so I'm going to make this as a window pane just so we can show our thinking. Our main idea is how far does he ride his bike? That's what we want to know, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say how far Brian rides. Okay, how far he rides. Now we know that from his house to the school is 8/10 of a mile. That's right here. It told us that. And then it says he rides his bike 7/10 of the distance. So that means of this distance, he rides 7/10. So I'm going to put my 7/10 here. And I'm going to put of the distance. Because it doesn't say 7/10 of a mile, it says 7/10 of the distance. So basically it's pointing back at this number. Okay, does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so we're going to take our 8/10 and we're going to multiply by 7/10 because it tells us 7/10. Okay, what's 7 times 8? 56. Good job. 7 times 8 is 56. What do we know about this number?
It has one
One place value. You guys are good. One place value. Thank you for not tapping your pencil. This one has one place value, and then this one has one place value. So our answer should have what?
2 place values.
2 place values behind that decimal point. Okay? So I always start at the end and I count 1, 2. All right? So your answer is 56 what? Hundredths. 56 hundredths. Okay? 56 hundredths. Let's look at number 3. Look at number 3. Mario is laying brick pavers to make a walkway in his yard. Each paver is 45 hundredths meters long. If he lays 16 pavers, how long will the walkway be? Well, I know my main idea because I know I'm looking for how long the walkway will be. So I'm going to put how long walkway. Just a little something to let me know what I'm looking for. So what did he start with? That's just giving us some information about the pavers. What did he start with? 16 pavers. Yeah. So I'm going to do, this is a model drawing. This is my 16 pavers. So here, I'm going to divide this into something. I'm going to divide this into what? 16. But do I really want to do that?
No.
So I'm going to make my first couple, and I'm going to call this paver 1. That's going to be paver 2, all the way down to paver 16. Okay? Each of my pavers, ooh, there's that word. Each paver, that tells me that I'm doing what? I'm multiplying, right. So each paver is 45 hundredths of a meter. So I'm going to put my 45 hundredths in each of my little boxes. And remember that dot, dot, dot means the same pattern all the way to the end. Okay? So we're looking for a total. We're looking for a total. That's another clue that we are multiplying. When you're looking for the total, you could be adding or multiplying. When you have the total, you could be dividing or subtracting. We know that. Okay, I'm going to take my numbers here. I'm going to take 45 hundredths, and I'm going to multiply them by what? 16. 6 times 5? 30. Put my 0. Regroup that 3. 6 times 4? 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 3? 27. Thank you for those that are focusing on math and not on being silly right now. All right, I'm done with that 3. I'm going to cross it out. I'm finished with that 6. I'm going to cross it out. Now, because I'm done with the 6, I'm done with that 1's place value, I'm going to put a 0. Because now I'm multiplying by the number in the tens place. The tens place. So 1 times 5?
5.
1 times 4?
4.
Now I'm going to add those products together. 0 plus 0?
0.
7 plus 5? So if it's 12, I'm going to put my 2 and regroup my 1. 4 plus 2? 4 plus 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. All right, so now let's talk about this. We have 2 place values here, and so I have 2 place values. I'm going to record that. I'll just put 2 PV, because that can stand for place value. Now, in my answer, I need to have what?
4.
I need to have 4 place values?
3.
I need to have 3 place values?
2.
I need to have 2 because all I recorded was 2. There's 1 here, there's 2 here. There's none in that 16, right? So I don't need to record anything next to that one. That's why you have to pay attention. So there's 2 place values there, so my answer needs to have 2 place values, okay? So I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to go from the back of that 0, and I'm going to go 1, 2. So my decimal point goes here. So that is 7 and 20 meters long. So this would be, I'll write it on this side, 7 and 20 meters long. That's how long that walkway is going to be. We answered our question. Okay? So what you're going to do is with a friend, you're going to work problem number 5, problem number 5, and problem number 4 and problem number 5 is what you're going to work. Problem number 4, and problem number 5 is what you're going to work with a partner.